What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to yet another episode of the MMA Show. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I really appreciate you all. If you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and, if you like the content, leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment, man. I want to get some feedback. I usually come in here and I talk about my personal beliefs and what I believe about fights and stuff like that and certain fighters and situations, but I would like some feedback. So please go ahead and leave a comment. Thank you if you're watching. Thank you. Pretty uneventful couple of weeks right now. We have two fight nights back to back. This past fight night that just happened was Jared Cannonier. Unfortunately, catch the loss. He went against Imavov. What's his name? I forget his name. Nasruddin Imavov. Anyways, it was a good fight, competitive, but unfortunately, Jared catch that L. It was a little bit tough because it was a little bit of a controversial decision, not gonna lie. And I think for Jared, it's a little unfortunate because he was really up there when it came to just being that close to getting a title shot again. Especially if you look at his record after he fought Izzy, which we'll see, we'll talk about, I believe it was a round 4. Yeah, it was round 4 that the referee stopped the fight. It was a KO, TKO, but it was controversial. I think even the referee came out and said that it was stopped a little bit too early, and disputing and all of that happened, but it is what it is. Once it's in the record, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. But yeah, overall, it was an okay fight. For Jared, man, it sucks because, like I said, if you look at his previous 2 fights, obviously he fought Izzy and lost, but after that, he fought Sean Strickland and won, that this is before Sean got the title, by the way. And then after that, he also fought Marvin Vettori and won. So both guys at the top of the division. I don't know what the rankings were at the time, but Marvin and Strickland have always been in the, top 5, top 7 of the entire division. You know what I mean? Even Vettori, even after losing to Izzy, he was still at the top, fighting Whitaker, fighting Paulo Costa. So still at the top of the division, So you have 2 wins. One over a former champ and one over a former, title challenger, right? And then you go on and you fight this guy. So I think this goes back to the issue. It's kind of like what I was talking about last week of Sean Strickland. You don't have to take every single fight, man. You know what I mean? And I get it if Jared is kind of doing it for money or whatever. And I think Jared pretty openly talked about how at one point he was struggling with money, being at the top of the division in the UFC, which is crazy. But, then you go on, you beat 2 guys in the top of the division. You could really just hang out and see if an opportunity comes along to fight either a more well-known guy or fight for a title. You know what I mean? When this belt has been moving around a little bit, a lot of moving pieces in this division, you know what I mean? So either you just kind of hang out and see what happens, or you fight. It had, what I'm looking at right now, it had been literally almost to the date, a year before his Marvin Vettori fight. So I get it, maybe he did wait a little bit, a year is kind of a long time, especially Jared. He's a little bit up in age. I think he's 39 or 40 years old. So it's tough, man, because in his position, he was forced to do this. The title, if he would have wanted to wait for a title, he probably would have to wait another year or so, because you have Strickland still in the picture, Izzy still in the picture, you have Hamza, you have Robert, who are going to fight here in a couple of weeks. So it's tough, man. You're just, you're ranked high, but you're not up next, and he realizes that. So you're forced to fight down. He fights Imavov, who I believe was ranked in the top 8 or 7, if I'm not mistaken. So not super back, but at Jared's age, having to climb the queue again, it's a little tough, man. It's a little tough. And It sucks. It sucks for Jared because, he had a shot at the title. And I talked about this too a while when the fight happened, when he fought Izzy and lost. Overall, Jared didn't do anything in that fight, right? So and I'm not blaming it on him. I'm also blaming it on Izzy. It was a boring fight, honestly. And now, Jared unfortunately never caught a break when it came to fame, when it came to views and pay-per-views and social media and stuff like that. It's a cool guy, and he's great at fighting. I think he fought at heavyweight. I think the guy's in shape. He's shredded. So for being 40, maybe I'm jumping the gun. For being 40, he could fight again and possibly go on another win run, win 2-3 in a row, and maybe get a title fight again, You never know. But at 40, it's tough because now you have to fight again after you just defeated the fucking former champ and former 2-time title challenger. So it's tough, man. It's tough. But, shout out to Imavov, now he defeated a former title challenger too. So now you're in that fucking space of the division where now you're looking at possibly fighting guy number 3, guy number 4, guy number 2. You never know. Anything could open up. I already broke down this entire division, by the way, the middleweight division. Last week, I talked about Khamzat and Robert. So if you want to see that, definitely go back and check the previous episode that I uploaded. That sounded so weird. Uploaded. The most recent video that I posted, But shout out to those guys. It was a great fight overall. Good main event, but cool. It was great. We have Dominic Reyes with the dub. Finally. I was starting to feel bad for this guy. In a previous episode, I know I also mentioned, retirement, because when you go on a bad streak like he was going, kind of like a Tony Ferguson vibe streak, it's tough, bro. You hate to see it. He lost to John Jones, and ever since then, he hasn't been the same. He lost, 5 in a row? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not too bad. 4 in a row. Okay, well, 4 in a row, but I believe most of them were by knockout, if I'm not mistaken. So he got knocked out against Jiri. He got knocked out against Jan Blachowicz. He got knocked out against Span. Yeah, a lot of them were by knockout. So, it's tough, and you hate it to see a guy take that much damage. So I'm kind of glad that he got a dub, man. Catch the break, especially because he was kind of falling out of the ranks, but now I believe he's ranked number 15, so that's good. So yeah, great for him. Dustin Jacoby too is no punk, man. He's a fucking, he's a great guy. He's a great fighter. So I'm glad that Dominic was able to catch that dub and catch a little break, man. It's always tough to see a guy on a losing streak so bad, which is what I want to see for Tony. It's a love and hate thing because I want to see Tony win so bad, but I also wish, he would just retire and be cool and not take more damage, which is ultimately it's the worst that you can do, is be at a high age and take brain damage. If Dominic were to get knocked out again, it's tough, It is tough to see. But the other kind of fight that we had this weekend that was kind of cool was Raul Rosas Jr. He got a dub against Turkios, not an easy fight, but it was a round 2 submission. Great dub for Raul. I know he catched the loss a couple of, he's one of those kids that kind of like Sean O'Malley who are coming up. They're young. They got a big social media presence, but they still got a lot to prove in the UFC. This guy has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights in the UFC. So, you still got a lot to prove. You're nowhere near a title or anything like that, right? So it's, right now it's just a contender. However, big on social media and famous, so I compare him a lot to Sean O'Malley. I know he catched the L against Rodriguez, I think it was last year. Yes, it was April of last year. But ever since then, he won 2 in a row. So that's great. It's good to see, I know he always has funny after fight interviews talking about needing money to buy his mom a van and shit like that, buy his mom a house, which is nice, bro. You love to see shit like that. And homeboy needs surgery on his nose. I didn't want to say it. Hey, I didn't want to say it. You were thinking about it. I didn't want to say it. Listen, I'm not even talking shit because my nose is also fucked up. And if you probably hear my voice is also affected by it, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's weird. But him, I mean, he has it at an extreme level, obviously. So yeah. But other than that, I mean, that was it for this fight. We didn't have a ton of action. And then next week we have another fight night that it's a little tough. It's a little tough. When the main event is two guys that you have never heard or seen before, it's tough, But okay, hey, I'll be watching and I'll talk about it, see what's up. But then we have two back-to-back fight nights. But then the week after that, we have the fight that we've all been waiting for. The fight that we never knew if it was going to happen. Like last week when I uploaded my video, I touched on it a little bit, but right as I was uploading it is when everything was happening about Conor canceling the press conference and canceling all of media obligations. So I was like, oh, fuck, this fight might not happen. But at the end of the day, it looks like we are going to get a Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler fight in 2 weeks, the 22nd. Big boy fight, man. Every time, I mean, come on. It's as big as it gets when it comes to pay-per-view, when it comes to fans, when it comes to even casuals watching the fight. It's, I think, when Conor fights, and especially a big comeback, like he's been saying, the best comeback in sports history. I think when that happens, you are going to... Oh, wait. Did I... Oh, fuck. No, it's not the 22nd. Sorry. Okay, so never mind. I backtrack what I say. The one after that is Whitaker versus Khamzat. Okay, my bad. Hit the brakes, But hey, I'm still glad that after everything that happened, it looks like we're still going to get the Conor versus Chandler fight. Which, man... Chandler, I watched him in interviews or something. He was saying how what was happening and what was going through his mind after everything was going on. And it's like, bro, to be waiting this long and for the fight to be really close to not happening, your anxiety must be through the fucking roof, bro. Especially for what it implies. I've talked about it before about how if he doesn't fight Conor, bro, and he wasted all this time on his career at a point where he's not getting younger. He already has a lot of experience. He's a little bit older, I think. I don't know how old exactly he is, but late 30s for sure, or mid to late 30s. And waiting that long and for that fight not to happen. I'll tell you what, if Conor would have just completely said, you know what? Fucked it. And like if right now or in the past couple of weeks Conor says, fuck it, I'm not fighting Chandler, I'm fighting whatever, Jake Paul or some shit like that, that would be one of, if not the biggest flexes and fuck yous in the history of sports, bro. To make a guy wait so long and waste so much time out of his already downhill career. Not downhill because he sucks, but downhill because of age. I mean, it is what it is, bro. Don't look at me. The guy's not getting any younger, bro. And obviously, this whole time that he's been not fighting, obviously this means no income. I'm sure he has other methods of income, but the biggest one, if not one of the biggest for sure, is probably fighting for him, And the fact that this fight almost not happened and McGregor is just kind of playing and puppeteering with Michael's life. I mean, it's fucking insane if you think about it. And it takes me back to that episode when that viral clip came out and he was like, you do what you're told. He is doing he's exactly doing that, okay? Conor is right now controlling this entire fucking thing. Okay, if he wants to pull the plug in it, he can. He's not going to. I'm not saying that. He's Conor, bro. Okay, Conor, as Dana White has famously said, he is a fighter's fighter. He is a guy that never really backs down from a fight. Obviously, if there's like a health issue, which was one of the things speculating about why this fight wasn't happening, it was maybe because of an injury. But I think Conor is the type of guy that he would fight still injured. Obviously, if it's a little bit crazy, like a snap leg or something like that, then obviously he can't fight. But, something minor, I feel like Conor will still fight Michael Chandler. But anyways, Conor has been in complete control this entire time, okay? From the Ultimate Fighter, from this, he dictated the weight, he dictated the time, the place probably, So Chandler has been just riding passenger, not even passenger. He's been not even in the passenger seat. He's been on the trunk, bro. Okay, he's been on the fucking trunk. Conor's driving. Dana White is in the passenger seat. Okay, and Chandler's in the fucking trunk, tied up. So it is tough to see, especially with a guy with a really skilled guy and top of the division. Guys had some losses, but also had some good wins. And some success in the UFC and obviously in Bellator. So you could call him not a UFC vet, but an MMA vet for sure. The guy's been competing for a while and has had some big names. Obviously himself is a big name. So to make a guy of that caliber wait and literally just be completely, utterly not in control of his next fight, it's crazy because, I guarantee you right now, Conor could come out and say, you know what, this fight is no longer happening at this weight class, which it was supposed to be at welterweight, okay? It's supposed to be at welterweight. If Conor comes out like with 2 weeks in advance and says, you know what, let's make it at middleweight or let's make it at lightweight, if he just completely changes the way this fight goes, Michael will follow. Like Michael Chandler will literally say, all right, well, and as he should, because he's made it this far. So it would be kind of stupid of him to not fight Conor after that shenanigan. Like I said, like if Conor, let's say, misses weight, or like I said, he changes the weight class, or he changes the date last minute. Let's say he pushes it out another month or something. Like Chandler's right there. So for him to not fight him over some small shit after waiting all this fucking time, that would be insane, bro. And Chandler looks like a guy, like he said, financially, I don't think he needs to fight every 4, 5, 6 months to be okay. He's had some big fights, some big pay-per-views, so it's crazy that he's been taking it kind of cool. He's been like, I'm waiting, I'm all right. And if I talked about it too in a previous episode, like it's kind of dumb, but it's actually kind of smart because he's making more money than he's ever gonna make. And this whole time, he's also just been chilling, He's been not taking damage, just staying in shape, just training. And not taking damage is a big one, especially as a fighter. If you're able to make that much money like he's going to make fighting Conor, would you rather fight 10 times for $50K, or would you rather fight one time for $500,000, right? Or for $600,000, you know what I mean? So $500,000, sorry. He's obviously making a couple million. Like, if I had to guess, I'll say Chandler's making at least at minimum a couple of $1 million, right? Conor, I think he's up there. I think he's up in the 5 to 10 million range every time he fights in the UFC. Obviously, if it's outside, if it's boxing, he's making way more money, bro. I think against Floyd, he famously was bragging on how he made $100 million or something like that. So, it's good for him. As he should. He's the biggest fucking star in the history of fighting. So, good for him. But yeah, man, sorry, I misspoke. That fight isn't happening for a couple of more weeks. I thought it was, the 22nd, but I got those two mixed up. That fight has some other good fights. It has Jamal Hill. It has Ian Gary versus MVP. That's a great fucking fight, bro. So I'll definitely be breaking that down as it gets closer. In other news, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched Dustin Poirier in Ariel Hawani's podcast or show, and I didn't listen to the whole thing, but he was talking about how he needed surgery, and he was talking about how I think it was no surgery, and he also talked about how, well, not him, but like I said, I didn't watch the whole thing, but the title said Dustin Poirier aiming towards retirement, right? So yeah, he made that pretty clear after his fight. He didn't say he was going to retire, but he said it was definitely an option and that he will be looking at it and making a decision soon. So yeah, man, like I said in the previous episode, if he's going to retire, good for him. Like, he's had an amazing career, right? And he's had obviously one of the best runs at lightweight ever. And the dude's a legend, you know, fought Conor 3 times and won 2 of those times, you know. So the fact that he's even talking about that it's great. Like, it makes me happy to see a guy retire and just see what's up next for him. You know, maybe he'll fight, make a lot of more fucking money fighting outside the UFC, or he'll get into acting, or he'll, you know, become the face of a brand or something. Like, that'll be cool for Dustin. He's definitely got the looks, the personality, you know, so he could do it. However, as a fight fan and a little bit of an ego, you know, I want to see him fight again, bro. I mean, it is what it is. Every time he fights, it's exciting. It's a great fight, and he proved against Makhachev that he still can hang. Okay, if he can hang with the champ, he can hang with pretty much everybody else in the division. Okay, so I'm kind of sad to see him go, but he did say, I don't know, if I was in his position, I'll probably do the same thing. He said he's had no surgery twice already, and then now he has to do it all over again. So yeah, man, if you're in that position, it's tough, bro. Like, fuck, like 3 no surgeries is crazy. So I understand, you know, I completely understand. I support whatever he wants to do. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you love it when the diamond fights. I mean, it's a party. It's a great fight always. You know, you're going to get blood. You know, you're going to get good fucking content from them. So, yeah. Sucks to suck. I still would have liked to see that Conor rematch and see that play out. Hey, it could still happen. It could still happen, especially because that fight probably won't be as competitive as an Islam fight. You know, not saying that Conor is worse or sucks, but Islam has been super active, you know, super dominant. So, in just the style that he fights, obviously the Khabib style, you know, it's tough. So fighting Conor for the money, you know what I mean, would be great to just sail into the sunset and probably be like a decision fight, not take too much damage, you know what I mean, but make it entertaining. That would be cool. I think that would be really great. And I was making the argument that Dustin should just hang out for a bit, you know what I mean? Because the way he was making it sound is like, well, I don't want to have to go through the queue again. I don't want to have to go on another run to fight again. And my argument against that was like, well, you got this title fight with just one win streak. Like, you lost the previous fight, you won 1 fight, and then you got a title shot. So you never know, bro. Like, if the title switches hands, or if they just don't have many contenders ready to go, especially with how close-ish your fight was against Islam, you could get another title shot as long as you maybe stick around, just maybe win 1 more, you know what I mean? You never know, bro. You never know. So, but again, he is also getting a little bit older, and he's been in wars, man. He's been in fucking wars. So I get it. You know, if he wants to retire, go for it, bro. That's you know, we all support it. Also, what I don't want to see is a guy just hang out too long and get fucked up, you know, and get brain injury and shit like that. It's not fun. But yeah, shout out to Dustin El Diamante Poirier, man. I hope, I wish him the best in his, future endeavors and whatever he wants to do. So shout out. What else is new in the fighting world? I guess we did have a fight this weekend. It wasn't a streamed fight or anything, but it was Bradley Martyn versus Logan Paul. This goes back, by the way, I think months, right? Because back in I think it was last year, where they were beefing a little bit on Twitter. And that's when Bradley made the comment of like, you know, fuck the cameras, fuck the cloud, like pull up and we'll fight. So I'm upset that it took him a long ass time. I want to say it was over 6 months. I don't fully remember, but I'm glad it happened. But also, like, boys, release the fucking video. Like, bro, we get it. You don't want clout, but you're also posting the ending of the fight, you know, letting everybody know you just fought. So you're fucking teasing. You know what the fuck you guys are doing. You say you don't want clout, you don't want views, but that's exactly what fucking you did. That's exactly what you did. It's just edging us, bro. You just edged us, okay? You're teasing us. Release the fucking video, all right? I want to see. And listen, I am the biggest advocate for free fights and not having to fucking buy a pay-per-view and shit like that and having to wait months and months and months and then somebody gets injured and somebody pulls out. Like, bro, I'm the biggest advocate for just fucking get it done. Just fight it out. Not the weight class you want, who cares? Like, when this whole shit was happening with KSI and Jake Paul, like, they're arguing over 5 pounds. They're really saying, I want to fight at 180, not 185. Who gives a flying fuck, dude? Just fight, my guy. Just fight. Do it at catch weight, bro. Who cares? You know what I mean? So I do respect that Logan and Bradley fought, but also just put it on video, bro. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Put it on YouTube. Shit, put it on OnlyFans for $5 if you want. I'd rather do that than paying fucking $80 for a bullshit ass fucking card, and I only want to see the main event, you know? So it is what it is. At the end of the day, I know what they know what they're doing. They're smart. I know for a goddamn fact there's video of it. I know for a goddamn... Bro, they're saying there's not, but quote me on this. These guys don't go shitting without recording it, okay? Especially Logan Paul. You know what I mean? Like, this guy records absolutely every fucking second of his existence, all right? He always has a Prime bottle, like, oh, by the way, speaking of Prime, fuck Prime. I'm kidding. I don't have anything against Prime, but I just don't like it, okay? Anyways, what I was saying is that these guys fucking record every fucking existence of their life, including Logan Paul. There is a fucking video, okay? They're just fucking with us is what's happening. You know what I mean? And I guarantee you, just to space out the views and space out the hype and the momentum, 3 to 6 months, that's going to be released, okay? And we're going to see what happens. It was probably a bullshit ass scramble. I don't know. It looked like they were not wearing gloves in the video, but then I don't know if they just took them off after the fight or did they fight with no gloves? Did they box? Did they do MMA? Like, I want to know what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? Bradley, obviously a bigger guy when it comes to mass, but in the video you can clearly see that Logan is taller. He's just taller, and mass-wise, I mean, he's pretty fucking close to Bradley, bro. Bradley's just a little bit more inflated, you know? Obviously, he's more of a bodybuilder. But Logan is probably way more athletic. Obviously, he is in the WWE. And say what you want, bro, but training for the WWE probably puts you in amazing shape. I mean, the guy is shredded. And, you know, you don't do backflips and shit like that without being really in shape and athletic. You know, I don't think Bradley could do WWE right now. If he trains for it for a few months, obviously he could, because he's also very disciplined and in great shape, you know. So if he wanted to, he could. But right now, I would argue that Logan Paul is in better shape, probably better cardio than Bradley Martyn. Logan Paul obviously has boxing background and some wrestling, but then Bradley has BJJ background, right? I think for what he said, and we've all seen clips of him, you know, grappling a little bit with the gi. Yeah, I think the video I saw of him, I think he was either on a blue or a white gi. I don't know where it was, but he does jiu-jitsu. You know, he said he's done it for a few years, so there's that. And you know, when it comes to boxing, I would agree that Bradley's not dumb. I mean, he's a street smart dude. You know what I mean? Before he was influencer, he was a little bit of a, I don't know. I watch a podcast on him and he grew up a little bit rough, I guess, but I don't know if he had any street fights or shit like that. But I would argue that being a little bit of an older dude and just a guy's guy, you probably know how to throw a punch or two, you know? He's probably hit mitts before, but, yeah, I mean, release the fucking video, bro. Like, I want to see what the fuck happens. And I know for a fact there's a video of it, okay? I know for a fact there's video. So don't bullshit us saying there's no video. So I know there is. And I guarantee you this is exactly what's going to happen. 3 to 6 months, they're gonna need another boost to promote some bullshit fight or some bullshit fucking something. And they're going to release it. And it's just going to give them views that they want, right? They're just edging us, bro. They're just fucking edging us, right? However, I do like that they did that, you know, just fucking record it, because I wish more guys would do that, you know, and Someone that was doing that a little bit was like Sean Strickland. Like, he famously like beat up Sneeko and shit like that. Like, I would wish that, but again, against Sneeko, it's kind of crazy. But for example, if Sean Strickland, I know he was trying to do that versus Jake Paul, like, why not do it? He told him, come out. And it was crazy. He famously said, like, why fuck a gym? Let's go to the desert and fight. That if Sean Strickland invites you to the desert, do not fucking go. Okay? Do not fucking go. The guy's a fucking psychopath, bro. But anyways, it should be fun. But yeah, I wish more guys would do that. Just straight up pull up, gym, mat, set it up, wear protection, wear gloves, and fucking fight it out. And we'll see what the fuck happened. And yeah, I guarantee you they're gonna pull out. They're gonna release a video in 3 to 6 months just to promote some other bullshit. Like I said, those guys do not fucking go take a shit without it being recorded. Okay, so I highly doubt there is no video of this shit, bro. I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. I guess in another current events of fighting, we did have another fight that was in the fear of not happening was Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul in boxing, Mike Tyson had some health issues. I don't know exactly what it was. I think it was, I heard an ulcer, but I'm not so sure. But yeah, the fight was close to not happening. And then there was rumors that Logan was going to step in, you know what I mean? And I think Jake and Logan would be up for that, and I think any other promotion would be up to make that fight happen, except Netflix. I really believe that the reason why this fight got postponed instead of just changing the opponent, it was because of Mike Tyson and because Netflix. I think Netflix want Mike Tyson. I think if it was Jake Paul getting injured or something or having a health issue and not being able to fight, then they'll do, Mike Tyson against whoever, right? Another influencer, or Mike Tyson against Logan Paul or something like that, I think Mike Tyson was the piece that Netflix absolutely wants there. So I don't think Netflix would have taken of Logan and Jake or KSI or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I think Netflix really revolved this whole event again around Mike Tyson, right? So when he gets injured and Jake Paul is saying, oh yeah, I'll fight Logan and on Netflix, like, buddy, you're the B-side here, I think. I like to think he's the B-side, although who cares? I mean, they're both massive names. But I think if Netflix wants to gain the respect of their viewers, and you got to realize Netflix viewership is a lot more older than, say, YouTube, for example, or TikTok, right? Older folks watching Netflix, you know what I mean? Older grandpas watching Netflix, and they remember the Mike Tyson era. So if you want to tap into those viewerships, you have to have Mike Tyson in it. You know what I mean? I would completely agree that Netflix is not Jake Paul's like forte. Like, obviously it's all relative also, but he's still massive and he still would have gotten a great pay-per-view. But if you want to tap on that audience of the older folk and the real Netflix and viewership, and then also like the worldwide phenomenon, I would argue that Mike Tyson is a bigger international superstar than Jake Paul. So Jake Paul is just famous in TikTok and shit like that. So YouTube, but worldwide and when it comes to mainstream media, whatever you want to think of mainstream media is not, because nowadays YouTube and Netflix are mainstream media. So my argument kind of falls apart there. But again, it comes down to viewers and their demographics, right? And I think Netflix has a bigger demographic of older people that are more familiar with Mike Tyson rather than Jake or Logan Paul. So that's why Mike Tyson was the piece that they needed, right? So if Jake Paul would have gotten injured, cool. Someone else, and they keep the same date and they fight and it's cool. But it sucks, man, because that fight was happening pretty soon. It was happening this month, I believe, or I think it was happening at the beginning of July. And now I got moved to November, bro. I've said this before. I fucking hate more than 2-3 months, bro. It's a nightmare, bro. announcing a fight, bro, it's not their fault that it got rescheduled, but bro, like what they did this first time is perfect. They announced the fight with like, I want to say 3 months, or it was less than 3 months. Like, perfect, bro. That's awesome. But now I have to wait till November, bro. What's that, 5 months? Oh my God. This sucks, okay? And it just leaves more room for injuries, for fuckery, for another health issue. You know what I mean? Like, it just leaves more room for shit to go wrong. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, let's just, I guess, play the waiting game and see what the fuck happens, you know, with that fight. But that fight, it's you know, as much as they want to say it's a real fight, I still strongly believe that fight is a gimmick. Like, okay, like, whatever, a 20-year-old, whatever, late 25, I don't know how old Jake Paul is. I think he's 27, 28, 29, I think. Yeah, he's going to fight Mike Tyson, who's like in his 60s, I think, or 58, 59. Okay, bro, like, what? And I've said this before, this, you know, Jake Paul has to choose a lane, bro. He cannot be going back and forth, you know, fighting KSI, Mike Tyson, fighting all these guys, fighting Nate Diaz, fighting fucking Ben Askren, and then he fights some guy that we've never heard of before, you know, in a card that nobody watched. You know what I mean? And he did that 2 times. Quote unquote, fighting real fighters, you know what I mean? But even then, those guys were nobodies. Not, you know, not a shade to them, not throwing shade at them, but I'm sorry, but you guys are probably never going to fight anybody as famous as Jake Paul again. So that was your one shot to knock him out. And this is controversial, but I strongly fucking think those fights were rigged, bro. Especially against I don't know names, I'm so sorry, but he fought a black dude. The guy took a dive. I mean, it's clear. Both the fights that he won, it's clear it was a dive. I don't know what kind of fucking universe I'm living on, bro, but those fights were dives, okay? So it's just pick a fucking lane, bro. Either keep fighting fucking ranked guys. Those were, by the way, those were also unranked. But, you know, fight a dude that's in the top 15, in the top 10. Like, you cannot not fight anybody ranked and then call out Canelo. Like, that's why Canelo himself or other top fighters don't take you serious, because you're fighting this dude that nobody's heard of, and then you're fighting Mike Tyson, and then you want to call out Canelo, right? Like, and don't get me wrong, Mike Tyson is scary to fight, but the age is everything, bro. Everything. And I'm taking a stand here. This might be controversial, but Mike Tyson is not going to do shit against Jake Paul. If that fight even happens, okay? If that fight even happens, Mike Tyson is going to land a few body shots, maybe a few jabs, and that's fucking it. For the famous clips of Mike Tyson that come out with him hitting mitts or hitting the bag, and he looks, oh my God, he looks so scary. You're seeing 5 seconds, okay? You're seeing a clip, all right? The fight, I think, is like 8 rounds. And yeah, they are, I think, 2-minute rounds, which benefits Mike Tyson. But still, you're seeing, you know, how is he going to look? Is he going to look like that in round 7? Around 8? I doubt it. I strongly doubt it. So that's why I think this fight's a gimmick. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson maybe not having the condition that he needs. You know, I don't think nobody's gonna get knocked out. But again, we have to get there. Okay, this fight might not even happen, bro. But if it happens, I'll be here to break it down. You know what I mean? So I almost wish I could make, I don't know, you guys probably know about this, but is there a way I can make a bet on the fight not happening? If so, I'll do it. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in, man. I really appreciate you all. And if you enjoy the content, again, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.